The story recounts that 3 years ago, the founding emperor of the Grand Dynasty, Xuanyuanji, was fortunate to have the senior counselor Qin Yao by his side. Under the guidance of Qin Yao, Xuanyuanji united the nations, establishing an immensely prosperous dynasty. At this moment in the palace, the officials were shouting,
"Long live the emperor! Long live, long live, long live, long live the emperor!"
After Xuanyuanji ascended to the heavens as a deity, now looking down from the celestial palace at his future descendants without worry, he had to summon Qin Yao out of the coffin once again to assist his descendants. At this moment in the celestial palace, Xuanyuanji went back to the palace and said to the Peach Fairy, "My descendants are too inept. You must bring Qin Yao out from the grave in my place to assist my future descendants." The Peach Fairy replied, "Yes." As a result, Qin Yao was forcefully pulled out of the coffin, her soul entering the body of the current queen with the same name. The current queen is Qin Yao, sitting and talking with the Peach Fairy in a quiet area of the palace. The Peach Fairy said, assisting the current emperor, help him rise and become an emperor among emperors. In short, the deity entrusted that the descendants of the royal family are too inept, so your task is. Qin Yao shouted, "The old man told you to dig, so you dig." She answered, "Ha! Even in death, you won't let me rest. Still a counselor, still an emperor among emperors, ha!" Her face was sad as she responded. Her eyes looked far away, her face slightly angry as she said, "Dream on." The Peach Fairy said, "The deity also said, as long as you make those descendants better, when you ascend to deity, he will help you to avoid the 3 heavenly tribulations." The Peach Fairy said, "Those are 3 heavenly tribulations." With a cute expression, Qin Yao thought, when ascending to deity, the heavenly tribulations are extremely terrifying. How many people die in them? Those 3 heavenly tribulations. Just useless emperors. In my previous life, I counseled 2 emperors who were worthless. So what if there's another current emperor? Make a deal. Her eyes showed a glimmer of joy, and a beautiful smile curved at the corners of her lips. At this moment, when the maid brought in pastries and tea, she saw the lady talking to herself and asked her, "Lady, who are you talking to?" The lady was startled and said, "What?" She was eating a pastry while saying, "I wasn't talking, Luliu. You misheard. Be good." "Luliu, has the emperor been the days?" Luliu replied, "Well, His Majesty's carriage passes through the Yan Yu Pavilion in the royal garden every day at the hour of the rooster." At this time, the lady stood up and went outside, which made Luliu ask, "Lady, where are you going?" She turned around and said, "To vie for favor." Luliu thought, after so many years of neglecting His Majesty, now the lady wants to vie for favor again? She said, "Why is it that after 300 years, the tricks of the women in the harem trying to seduce the emperor with chance encounters remain so stale?" At this moment in the pavilion, there was a stunning beauty playing the zither with her maid. When the 2 arrived, Luliu said to Qin Yao, "Lady, it's consort Hui. Shall we go over there?" Qin Yao replied, "Go. Why am I not going?" As they arrived, before they could enter, Hui said, "I thought it was someone else, but it turns out to be Her Majesty." The lady continued in a sarcastic tone, "I heard that a few nights ago Her Majesty fell into the lake. Don't know if it has anything to do with the state preceptor. Really makes one ponder." Jia thought, "The state preceptor? What does that have to do with me?" But still remained silent and said nothing. Hui continued, "Average appearance, average stature, seems to have a mediocre mind. Such people are not worthy of my attention." But Hui thought, her gaze is what? But Qin Yao still did not respond, causing her to angrily shout, "What? Can't you understand what I'm saying to you? Although Her Majesty falls into the lake, your head won't get wet, will it?" At that moment, Qin Yao said to Luliu, "Luliu, why do I hear the sound of a mad dog barking rudely?" Luliu replied, "Lady, there are no dogs in the palace." Hui, angry, slammed the table, stood up and shouted, Qin Yao, who are you calling a mad dog? Qin Yao said to Liu, listen up, she's barking again. Liu said, has this damn bitch taken the wrong medicine? Usually she just says yes and nods, also hides far away. Today she's gone mad, daring to talk back and insult me. The Majesty had arrived but had been observing from outside for a long time. At this moment, the eunuch asked, Your Majesty, come see. He said, I'm free, huh? The eunuch, frightened, said, I'm so sorry, I'm such a damn nuisance. The noise from the two had caused the conversation to stop. Hui quickly ran over and greeted the emperor. At this moment, Lu Yu said, Lady, it's His Majesty, let's go over there too. Lady, Her Majesty? At this time, Qin Yao's eyes shone brightly as she looked at the dense aura of the reigning emperor, forgetting that Lu Yu was asking her. Current emperor is Xuanyuan Ying. She thought, behind this person is a dense aura of an emperor. For a wild demon like me, indeed, indeed. Imperial jade among imperial jades. Just by absorbing this vitality, becoming a deity is within reach. Why bother with heavenly tribulation? I want to sleep with him. While thinking, she quickly ran in front of Xuanyuan Ying. We said, Her Majesty, how can you stare at His Majesty like that? That's completely disrespectful. In her mind, Hui secretly blamed herself. Did I lose? At this moment, Hui also ran in front of Xuanyuan Ying, but when she reached out, Xuanyuan Ying dodged, and she said, Your Majesty, you must manage her. At this moment, Xuanyuan Ying's face showed annoyance, causing her hand to retract. In her mind, she thought, Humph, never mind, anyway, His Majesty doesn't like her. This time she'll surely be punished. At this moment, Qin Yao placed a hand on Xuanyuan Ying's shoulder and said, Your Majesty, tonight, can you visit my chamber? And the next chapter, let's continue to follow the story. She said, Did the Empress fail to vie for favor? Xuanyuan Ying said, Yes, Your Majesty, when will you visit my chamber? In the previous episode, we reached the point. Qin Yao asked Xuanyuan Ying, Did the Empress fail to vie for favor? In this part, let's continue to follow the story. At that time, Qin Yao clung to him. Xuanyuan Ying said, Empress, what are you doing? In her mind, she thought, the younger generation is too arrogant these days. This is not a good thing. Back then, the beautiful and charming concubines in the harem, how could they captivate the old Xuanyuan Ji like that? Then, she touched his chest and said, Your Majesty, what am I doing, can't you see? Then she pretended to cry, tears streaming down her face. She said, Since I entered the palace, His Majesty has never visited my chamber. There has never been a time when I didn't think of His Majesty, so that's why. In her mind, she thought, But the appearance of Xuanyuan Ji's descendants is truly satisfying. Suddenly, he grabbed her hand and then replied, Is it so? She said, That's right, Your Majesty. When will you visit my chamber? Then he touched her lips, looked straight into her eyes and said, You, the Empress consort, wants you to come whenever. In his mind, he thought, The actions of this woman today are indeed strange. Could it be that she fell into the lake brain damage that day? Or is there another intention, wanting to play some trick? She said, Why choose a day when you can meet today, Your Majesty? How do you feel about going tonight? He thought, his eyes filled with suspicion, and said, Dishan, summon the imperial physician to the Empress's Phoenix Palace. Check to see if the water got in when she jumped into the lake. Dishan bowed and answered, Yes, yes, Your Majesty. This servant will send someone to inquire. At this moment, Hui also bowed and said to him, Your Majesty, will you visit my chamber tonight? When she hadn't finished speaking, he turned his back and went to the Empress, saying, Indeed, my Empress consort. She could only grab his hand, but to no avail. He leaned close to her and whispered in her ear, I'm not interested in women who already have someone in their heart. Be a good Empress, don't try to find your own death, or I will dethrone you. After saying that, he left her with the question in her mind, Have someone in heart? She powerlessly watched him walk away, and thought, Hey, my imperial jade. When she returned to her resting place, she asked Lu Liu. Xuanying said, "There is someone else in my heart. What does that mean?" She replied, "Lady, do you really not remember anything about the incident of jumping into the lake to commit suicide for the state preceptor?" Qin Yao asked, "Jump into the lake to commit suicide? For the state preceptor?" Lu Liu replied, "That's right. That day you expressed your feelings to the state preceptor." Qin Yao asked, "Lin Qi, you're unintentionally again." Lin Qi replied, "I have never had thoughts beyond propriety towards Her Majesty. Please, in the future, don't persist like that." Just after saying this, the Empress jumped into the water immediately, which scared Lin Qi a lot. She thought, this Empress, is she cuckolding the Emperor? Moreover, even so, the Emperor didn't kill her. It seems Xuanyuanying is really impotent. After a while of thinking, she finally understood everything. If he's impotent, then I'll find a way to make him able. Then she said, "Lu Liu, bring me a eunuch's attire." In this outfit, she disguised herself as a palace eunuch to enter the palace, assigned to bring food to the Emperor. She thought, with so many guards it won't be easy. This Emperor is very cautious. Blending in will be difficult. He was bathing in the hot spring, his fit body in a thin outfit. After meeting him, she smiled secretly and thought, "Oh, an unexpected harvest. The body of this descendant is indeed beautiful, fantastic. I'm not at a loss, not at all." Suddenly, he called her over. "You come here." This left her panicked. Preview next chapter. Oh, this eerie atmosphere, What's going on? Why do His Majesty's lips seem torn? Why is the Empress wearing the attire of a young eunuch? Why does the appearance of the Empress resemble a demon absorbing young energy? Why does His Majesty act as if a small wife is being molested and is too embarrassed to get angry? In the next chapter, the supporting male character, the White Moonlight character, State Preceptor, will also make an appearance. Can't wait.